This is the Make Sierra Leone Famous podcast. If you're looking to explore Sierra Leone and understand its culture and its people, you've come to the right place. On every show, you'll meet Sierra Leonean creatives and entrepreneurs overcoming challenges and beating the odds. They are artists, filmmakers, musicians, chefs, writers, storytellers, and designers leading Sierra Leone's orange economy, both at home and from the diaspora. I'm your host, Vicky Rameau, journalist, entrepreneur, and community builder on a mission to expand Sierra Leone's presence on the web. Hashtag Make Sierra Leone Famous. The other voice you'll hear on Make Sierra Leone Famous is sound engineer and producer Frank Bob McEwen at VRNC Marketing Company in Freetown, where this show is mixed and mastered. Now, make the show begin.
Because I live for food, I breathe food. Even if I can't sleep, I close my eyes and make up a recipe in my head, cook everything in my head, just trying to sleep. And then I'll fall asleep. So what I used to do was I said, listen, I write down, of course, I've got a whole book full of ideas and things, and I illustrate as well because I like food plates and the arts as well.
Today on the Make Sierra Leone Famous podcast, I'm talking to an Afro-fusion chef, specifically a Sierra Leonean fusion chef who is combining traditional Sierra Leonean recipes with global cuisine. So I think that food is such an important part of cultural preservation and also just like creating a way to share your culture with the world. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest for today is Renata Camara of Renata's Afrofusion Cuisine. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me on your show. Thank you very much for having me.
First of all, I mean, I know that there's definitely like an African cuisine revolution, right? Like there's something going on in the last 5 to 10 years, where across the world, especially Africans in the diaspora, are experimenting with not just, first of all, experimenting with food, but choosing to make food their profession, like maturing out of that, like, oh, my parents didn't send me here for this, I should be a lawyer, a doctor, whatever, and saying like, no, I love food. My impact that I'm going to make is going to be with the culinary arts, and I'm going to share my vision and my worldview through my food. And so I've definitely been seeing that. And I want to kind of ask you how you started your journey, because I know food has always been a part of your life, but when did you actually accept your gifts and learn to embrace it?
Well, for me, it's a long story. Okay. It's true what you said, because we are now in the diaspora. The diaspora, we are like, because we're trying so hard now to promote our foods, because before, like you said, people were not taking African food really seriously when it comes to the level of the food chain, So now we are coming and saying, yes, you need to take us seriously. And so we all, each and everyone, each individual started doing their own stuff and all of that. Okay, coming back to the question is, I started taking it like super seriously about 6 years ago. I've always been cooking, by the way. I first did fashion design, and it wasn't for me. I've always liked to be creative, basically. If you follow, those who follow me on Instagram or on, I've got a Facebook page just dedicated to Renata's Afrofusion Cuisine, just to inspire more people and young chefs coming up from Sierra Leone, how we can use our ingredients in different ways. And so 6 years back, basically, I spent the whole of 2014, I went back home to Sierra Leone my mother was ill. She had Parkinson's. She was suffering from Parkinson's disease, which, it's a degenerating disease. So she only had like 2 years to live. So I packed all my stuff and I went back to nurse my mom. In our culture, the girl picking. I'm the only girl in the family. We're only two, myself and my brother. So I went there. I still been doing my cooking here, doing the caterings here and there. I have other jobs that I used to do. So spending those 3 years in Sierra Leone, I was managing. I had my uncle who had a resort in Lonsar. So yes, it's called the Baisuba Resorts. And so I was basically the chef, the janitor, the everything, the work ethics in Sierra Leone, especially. It's in the middle, it's off the main road. That when you go into Lonsar, you've got the petrol station, Shell Company. Mm-hmm. So you take a left, it's in the middle of nowhere. So that's me coming from Brussels, lived here for over 30 years, slam bam, into this bush, you understand? And then, because my late auntie said, okay, I visited, when they were building the resort, I visited, because I used to go every holiday just to check on my mom, and then before deciding to move back, you see. So my auntie said, well, until you like chef, so right, you're going to be running, you understand? You're going to be running the restaurant. That I ended up running the whole thing because you know how they are. Oh, it's raining, rainy season. Why are you late? Oh, I've been waiting for the rain for cuts. Those kind of thing. Like, something, I'll do it myself. You understand? And then I'll sack them, of course, and then you get the whole village coming back to beg me to take them. You understand? So it was like this. So then I started, I'd go to the markets. There's a little nice market in Lonsar. Then I go to the markets. I'll tell my auntie what we need from Freetown. They'll bring the produce too because it's very limited Lonsar. But my enthusiasm for of the grains that I never saw in Freetown in the markets, you see, like concho beans. They're the same family from the black eye peas, but they're slightly smaller and they're really, really tasty. Like concho beans, kalami. Kalami is the African watercress.
It's like the tiny beans, right?
Yeah,
very small. I remember kalami.
And it has a special sort of like earthy, bitter taste, depending on how you cook it. But upline in Lonsar, they normally cook it with nut oil or with coconut oil. So all of these things I didn't find in Freetown. But now, of course, I'm talking 6 years ago. Now, of course, you can find everything in Freetown now in the markets. So spending that time there and researching these recipes and even visiting family members when I had my day off, I'll tell them to come and cook and let me see what they're doing. So eventually, my mother passed away, unfortunately. So I came back to Brussels and then I started the whole fusion thing because it was really a big eye opener for me. And I thought, yes, well, now let's take Sierra Leone. Now let me sit and be serious with this. And let's take Sierra Leone foods to another level, fusion style, because we're quite limited with the ingredients and the diversity of foods that we have in Sierra Leone. It's not like other countries like Ghana where you are, or Congo or Nigeria. So this is how it all started, answering the question.
Right. The Make Sierra Leone Famous podcast is made possible by Dot Bleu. With its certified air freight service, Dot Bleu is the easy and affordable way to ship to Salone from the US or from the US to Salone. No need to wait till someone is going home. Dot Bleu will deliver your next package to Sierra Leone in 15 days or less. To ship with Dot Bleu, contact us on WhatsApp on +1 240 460 2056 or +232 88 313-330. In Sierra Leone, you can find our office at 17A Wallace Johnson Street in Freetown. Fly and go with Dot Bleu. We go deliver for you. DOTBLEU.com. So when you that's fantastic. It's so interesting that going home was the catalyst. You know, some people it's the reverse. It's leaving home that's the catalyst. Like you leave home and then there's this like nostalgia and then you start experimenting. But I think it's so interesting that for you, it's like going home becomes the catalyst and then you return and you can go off on this new journey. What were some of the first kind of things you did or experiences you created of like, okay, this is what Renata's Afrofusion is. This is it. Like, what is the DNA on the plates?
What I was doing when I came back, every 2 weeks, I'll have like 6 friends over. And because I leave for food, I breathe food. Even if I can't sleep, I close my eyes and make up a recipe in my head, you know, cook everything in my head, you know, just trying to sleep. And then I'll fall asleep. So what I used to do was I said, listen, I write down, of course, I've got a whole book full of ideas and things. And I illustrate as well because I like food plates and the arts as well. So some of them I have illustrations for. Some of them I illustrate in my head and then put it on the plate. It's a lot of work, a lot of mistakes, a lot of, you know, but obviously I only show the good thing, the finished product. Every chef will tell you that, you know.
I see your post on Twitter when you're the finished products, which is why I was like, no, we really need to have Renata on the show. So every 2 weeks you had 6 friends over and you would create these like dining
6 friends over. Yes, and I will do at least 1 vegan dish, Afro-vegan, plant-based, and then I will do 2 fusion foods. And then I started my Instagram page, and then I started getting work. And then it's just like, and then we continued that for almost like 6 months doing that. And then it became larger and larger and larger. And then obviously they recommended me to other people. You know, Brussels is quite small as well. And I'm the only Sierra Leonean here doing what I'm doing, you know, because it's a Francophone country. We only have Francophone, like in Congo, the Congolese, Senegalese, you know, Ivorians. And then they were curious, the Francophones also were curious to try my own food as well. And then the realization came as well, we've got lots of vegetables in common. In different, like Togo. I'm talking about Francophone. I'm not talking about Anglophone, like Ghana, Nigeria, which, of course, Nigeria, we're so close with our foods. It's, you know, it's almost, but then they started taking interest in what I'm doing. And then it just snowballed. It really just took off. And it took off. And because I love what I'm doing, I cook every day. Every day. I cook every day. Even if I have to fry an egg.
But now you've been doing this for several years.
7 years now, 7.
Yeah. How big is the market? Like, how big is the opportunity? Is this something that's saturated? Do you feel like we haven't even scraped or scratched off the top, or we're just at the tip of the iceberg for this exploration of African cuisine and like African food, and being able to bring kind of like modern techniques to it so that we can, like, you know, share it with the world? How big do you think this opportunity is?
It is absolutely huge. It is absolutely huge, especially in the States. It's growing big because you've got now also Black American chefs who want to go back to their roots as well, as in the African roots, and creating dishes. And you have also Africans in the States and in England, especially in the States. You know, everything is big in the States. And they are trying hard as well. People in London are trying hard as well. We're getting there. We're being noticed, we're shaking those doors. Every individual is shaking those doors. We're upping our game. Africa, for me, is the garden of the world. So it's like we've got plenty to offer. We've got plenty to offer. So we're getting there. We're getting there. And people are taking note. Yeah.
Mhm.
We're getting
What
there.
is
Even for me,
So I wanted to ask about your process and like your investment, right? So for somebody who's started and you've been, well, not even just started now, you've been doing this for several years. What is the process? How much do you have to invest in this kind of venture? Is it like a minimal investment, or is it the kind of thing that you wait until you have clients? How do you go about getting clients? And just how do you grow this kind, because a lot of people who might be listening to the show might be home chefs. We all people have like these things they think like, oh, it's just my side hobby. But growing that hobby, especially something that has to do with cooking that is so essential and everyday, how do you grow something like that from like, oh, I just went to Sierra Leone and I had this great experience and now I want to run with it? How do you transition from that hobby to the business? What kind of investments do you need to make? What kind of resources do you need? And how do you go about like building a clientele?
well, going back to my own story, get friends together in the beginning, friends who are foodies, who you know that they can promote you, because I'm in the entertainment world, it's all around me. So I'm lucky in that sense because when there's studio work, bands coming from everywhere from the world, I've got two friends who've got studios. So when musicians come, first thing call Renata because they've tried my food. So try to get people who that can access your food, who've got professions that can access your food easily. Like I started off as well cooking for musicians in studio. They'll call me for a whole week if they're recording in studio for a whole week. I'll do the whole week cooking for them, for example, lunch and dinner, or maybe sometimes lunch. And those friends will tell other friends and blah, blah, blah. That's one. Second, you need to have sort of like an Instagram account. Instagram is good for some things, huh? It's good for something, or a Facebook cooking blog, or a page, or a blog. You start up from there because you want people to know what you're doing, explain what you're doing, and be consistent. Don't post today, open a page today, and after 2 months you post one. People lose. You have to. It's nice. I see other people, especially. I'm talking now about Sierra Leone people. I've got lots of contacts before they come to my Instagram. Oh, Chef Renata, I'm opening my own thing. I'll give them great advice. And then 2 months later, nothing. Even if you're good in frying akara or making olele, just show them different ways how to do it. Be consistent. You must be consistent. You must always up your game. You must always be innovative. Well, me, I'm always being innovative. That's why I tell you I'm cooking 24 hours in my head. I cook every day. I try out recipes. I've got my book with me always in my bag. Do you understand? As soon as I think, because I'm getting a bit, old now, I tend to forget. But I've got my book. I've got a little pocket book. So start off little by little. Open a page, a blog, do little videos. If you can't do little videos, be consistent. Try it first once a week and then try posting twice a week. And then you will see people are following. And then tag your hashtag. I started my Instagram page like 3 years back. And now I get work from my Instagram. The great thing about Instagram or my page as well, because you can refer people to say, go to look at what I do. If you're on Facebook, go on my Facebook page, Renata's Afrofusion Cuisine. You would see what I'm doing because I am consistent. So there's a lot of things that you can see, lots of things to choose from. If you go to my Instagram page, you can see, because I try to separate those two communities. I've got my Facebook community, which is more Sierra Leone, try to please them a little bit, try not to go hard on them because they like for criticize too much. So I try not to put hard things. I call it hard, but it's not. I try not to give them hard recipes because sometimes, what's in this one again? And then, but I don't mind all of that. I'm just doing my thing, Do you understand? So so I separate those two pages. I try to separate them. Instagram is for international. I've got lots of work from Instagram. Now, for example, for the last 4 months, I'm a recipe developer now. I've traveled to Italy, to Spain, to develop recipes for restaurants that want Afrofusion in their recipes. And 2 of these restaurants are now using my recipes, and they're working really well. So
That's
you see,
awesome.
yes.
Wow.
I travel. You need to be ready. You need to work hard. There are lots of failures, but you need to continue. You need to be consistent.
The radio broadcast of the Make Sierra Leone Famous podcast on Radio Democracy 98.1 is made possible with a generous grant from the Asma James Foundation. The Asma James Foundation empowers women and girls with mentorship, scholarship, and life skills training. To make Sierra Leone better for girls and girls in Sierra Leone better, visit the Asma James Foundation at ASMA, that's ASMAA, James.com. And now, let's go back to the show. Okay, so now I want you to tell me what would be like your signature dish. You're like, this dish is, tells my perspective on food. It encompasses everything that I'm about. This is the Renata signature dish. What is that dish? What's in it? And what is it?
Oh my God, Vicky, that is so So basically, don't forget, they always say, as a chef or musician, I always say that the last dish that you did was one of your favorites. Do you understand? So I'll say,
That's true.
Because I love seafood. I do a fantastic seafood funde jollof baked.
Funde jollof.
Yes, it's in my, I have a book. I wrote a book, and it's in my book here.
Show us the book. Show us the cover. Let me see. Oh, yes, I saw it on Twitter. It just came out, right? It just came out.
No, it didn't actually. This is the first edition, came out 2 years ago. But what I did was, because I go home every Christmas. I didn't go this Christmas, but I'll be going sometime, a couple of months' time. But every Christmas I go home. So 2 years back, when I did the book, I only did a cover copy, hard copy for Sierra Leone, because I launched my book in Sierra Leone. Reason why I did that, one, I wanted Sierra Leonean people to be able to afford my book. Instead of, they can't order online and Amazon, and it's not. And most of my fans, or my foodie fans, or people who have been following me for all these years, a good 40% live in Sierra Leone.
Right. Okay.
So I decided, let me take this book. I printed like 300 copies and took them to Sierra Leone and did the launching there. And you can come to buy the actual book itself. I did the whole shebang, signed copies, and so on and so on. And then a year later, that was last year, I put an ebook on Amazon, an ebook.
Oh, okay. That's what I saw, I think, in December. That.
And it went to number one.
Oh, congratulations. You have a bestseller. Yay.
No,
That's
awesome. Wait. No, I should be honest. It went to number one for new releases on Afro. Well, it went to number one anyways.
It is. I mean, I don't know why you're trying to say no, 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 because it
No,
is what it is. A bestseller is a bestseller,
yeah,
sis. However you get it, number one is number one. No,
uh,
that's really,
yeah,
really
man,
awesome.
man.
So exactly. Yameda.
Uh,
Can you just like from your book, could you like read a couple of the recipe like which what and what you have in there? Like what are
okay,
some of like the items you have in there? Maybe since we
so
talked about vegan food or vegetarian food, maybe like your son's favorite, if
well,
you have that in there, something you make for him that he likes,
no,
or just like your favorites.
you are thinking way ahead because I'm coming out with the Afro vegan book in April. So
Oh,
hold that thought
okay.
there. Yes, I'm working
Okay.
on it now.
Okay.
It's
No,
called,
that's awesome.
I won't give you the title of the name yet. Yeah, it's going to be like 3 easy recipes from, Sierra Leone and around West Africa,
Sure.
because I
That's awesome.
discovered
That's awesome.
lots and lots of grains. You know that
Mhm.
that lentils I never knew was called refugee beans, folic acid, sorry, folic acid. You learn every
Yeah.
day. It's a really, I tell you, man. Oh, Vicky, I mean,
No,
what?
We will be right back after this short music break.
Jealous, life is precious, moving daily. Cannot catch us. I chef and share with a crew.
Go anywhere with the crew. Medusa's face on my jewels.
Lion in your eardrum. VV's on my necklace. Spice up your food when I come for the breakfast. No time for the reckless. Don't mess with me, I go make you breathless. Yeah, I'm an African. So the man girl, let me see I'm fearless. I do not care less. Blow up your ears, I'ma leave your earless. I sling this back and back, rewind this track. I'm better than bad with a black tan. Every tune is a banger. Lion run that back like a madman. Since I was young, been in the kitchen, matches happen. Simon said, ace or criminals, cash and salmon. I got a sauce for the jollof, everything well done. If you're gonna run your mouth and leave, you're not welcome. I got the crib, back in the woods, somewhere in Belgium. Money we make, fire, say I'm spitting out venom. Don't be jealous, life is precious, moving daily. Cannot catch us. I chef and share with a crew. Go anywhere with a crew. Medusa's face on my jewels. Versace back for the tools. Don't be jealous. Life is precious, moving daily.
That was Mata Udo with Fearless. And now let's head back to the Make Sailing Famous podcast.
I went
Ah,
to
it's
Kabbalah. I went to Kabbalah in January 2020, and the person I was interviewing took me to the market because they give these grants to market women. And I just remember like looking at the tabletops and just like the vegetables. There were lots of vegetables there that I hadn't seen before. There were lots of grains and like legumes that I couldn't really like. I'm like, I know this is like a kind of bean or a kind of lentil, but like I don't really have the lexicon for it. But we do have a lot more, I think, diversity of food that grow, that's
yes,
cultivated, that are not part of our daily plasas and soup and stews. And because everything is so rice
exactly,
focused, people
exactly.
don't explore those other dishes, but like we do have a lot of different things that we don't use. And so maybe the work that you're doing,
I
one key
tell you,
way is like, reintroducing people to produce that they might not necessarily think is much, but that's available, that's healthy, that's maybe even cheaper than what they're consuming now. So yeah, anyways,
that's what I do.
tell me some of the
Exactly.
recipes in your current
So
in this
for
current
the
edition.
for the okay, so this one, number one, it's fonio with sardine fish balls. Fonio is funde. You see the funde.
Funde, yeah.
Now, coming back
Yeah.
again to what you're saying, funde is 10 times healthier than white rice. It has a lot of iron. It has a lot of properties, health properties. It's endless. This funde fonio. So, of course, in a fusion style, I've got funde with sardine fish balls. I don't know how to
Okay,
tell
so
you
you
that.
use the funde as like coating, like as like you would use breadcrumbs. No?
Yes, yes, in both
So okay,
ways.
so
Put it in the sardine
the
exactly like you
inside.
make fish inside and
Wow.
coating outside. See?
Ooh,
And
that sounds
yeah,
interesting.
and then you've got I like this one. Then you've got banana plantain blinis. They're like banana
Excuse me,
plantain, like a
ma'am.
little
Excuse me.
yeah.
What did you say? Plantain Bailey? Ma'am.
Blinis.
Oh, Bellinis. I was like, Bailey's, what?
No.
Bellinis. Bellinis.
No, I haven't got that
Plantain
far
Bellinis.
yet. And of course, with this is sort of like a canapé for aperitif. You can put with the smoked salmon. That's an easy one. And then you've got gazpacho, watermelon gazpacho with yes, again with fish balls, but made in the salon way.
Oh, wow. I need to come
Can you
visit you.
yeah? Can you see?
Oh, we
See?
need to. Yes,
Yeah.
I need to come visit you. This is not
You're
a.
all most welcome.
This
And then
cannot be
I
a long
did
distance
again.
relationship.
Can you see this
Mackerel.
one? So
Yes,
this is
mackerel.
mackerel with butter beans, butter beans,
Mhm,
masala,
mhm.
and infused fonio, infused funde. Yet again, healthy, nice, and light. Grilled mackerel. You put your beans, your butter beans into curry masala, and you infuse your fonio. You put your patmenji. Bam, there you go. You know, nice and healthy. And then, of course, I did the goat curry with cinnamon rice. And then you've got, this one is a nice one. Sierra Leone pepper soup in baked pumpkin.
Oh my
I don't know.
God. Oh my God.
I
That,
got yeah.
wow. Oh my God. That just sounds like to die for. Like in the winter time?
Yeah,
What? Oh my
exactly.
God.
Yeah,
I'm going to
that
get
is
this
a
book.
winter bag now.
I'm going to the US. I'm going to the US at the end of the month. And you know it's gonna be cold. I'll be in New
Right.
Jersey. I'm not gonna cook it, but I'm gonna get the
Exactly.
book so I can give it to somebody who cooks.
And,
So they can cook it and I can eat
exactly.
it. I'm in the eating department. So that's
You know your food, you like your food, right?
yes. I'll keep them company in the kitchen though. Like I'm a good kitchen buddy. Like if you want someone to sit with you in the kitchen while you cook
Yeah,
and talk to you and entertain you and taste, I'm that friend.
you right. Okay. And then there's this one that I like as well. I like this one. Says it's all about Africa and Sierra Leone, which is. And by the way, the pictures and the painting are all done by me. I do all my photography and
Oh
everything.
my God.
Yeah.
That's
It's 100% me.
awesome.
Yeah, plating, photography. Again, being consistent. Because when I first, you have to do, you have to take, for example, doing a dish, sometimes you have to wake up a bit early because you want that natural light. You have to know how to plate. You have to know your angles. For one picture, you have to take sometimes 50 of them to get the right one. So it takes patience. It's not as easy as it looks.
We will be right back after this short message from our brand partner, the Dollhouse Boutique. The Make Sierra Leone Famous podcast is supported by the Dollhouse Boutique, an American household brand for one-of-a-kind fashion and bespoke creations. Find your next stylish look at shopdollhouseboutique.com. We have stores in Baltimore, Maryland, and Los Angeles, California, showing the best of local designers. Our first international fashion boutique opens in Sierra Leone in 2022. Until then, find us on Instagram at Dollhouse MT Vernon. That's Dollhouse MT Vernon. And now, make we go back to the show. Consistency, like you said throughout this interview, that at the end of the day, the way that you grow, the way that you make an impact, the way that you get customers, the way that you create opportunities for yourself is to be consistent with your craft and to keep experimenting and growing, because it's the only way. Otherwise, like you're not a chef, right? Otherwise, you're just somebody who cooks because they need to eat. And
Who likes
what
cooking?
makes
Yeah.
what makes a chef is that extra that other space, right? That search for perfection, that search for refinement, and that desire for experimentation. That's the difference, right, between a cook and a chef.
Exactly.
One might say, or I'm trying to say.
Exactly. That's the difference. Well, you're getting it right, really. And anyway, this one here is Wala rice, the Wala rice.
Oh,
Sierra Leone.
Wala rice.
I went for the indigenous rice, upline country, with mushrooms, African mushrooms, morels. You find them mostly in Congo. You don't get them in Sierra Leone, to be honest, because since I live in Brussels, you can get them. It's a plus. It's a plus for me sometimes, and it's a minus for me sometimes, because I can't get my Sierra Leone ingredients, not like in London or in the States. But then I get also Congolese, Togo. So these mushrooms are grown in Congo, basically. So,
but I think that's the gift, right? That at the end of the day, because you are where you are, it gives you then the opportunity to merge Sierra Leonean cuisine with cuisine in a way that then like really adds to that like Afro. So it's more like the Afrofusion experience, right? And not so much. When people think Afrofusion, they're thinking, when they think Afrofusion, the idea is oftentimes to think of African and another, like, so African and Asian, African and French, African, when they don't think of African fusion as like, I know, but like there's this kind of like in their perception.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Being like this intermixing of African, within the continents, like fusing us together. That's really beautiful and special. Because
this is Congo and Sierra Leone.
These mushrooms, yes, that's amazing. It's like the African Union, but on a plate.
Yeah. And which other one else? And then obviously, I did an African platter. I called it the African platter. Basically, it's with chobi rice, grilled tilapia and yassa. That's again another African Union mix up.
I love yassa. Oh my god, yeah, I love yassa.
Yeah, you see.
Wow.
So
I'm definitely
that's
getting
the one.
This book.
It's
like totally inspired right now. I have a housekeeper and a cook. I'm gonna get the book. We're gonna print it out. I'm gonna be like, listen, let's try it out. Y'all need to go to the market, get these ingredients, see what you can do. Let's try to experiment here. Okay, let's bring the Afrofusion to Ghana. Let's try these through.
Yeah. And then you can make it your way as well, take a bit of here and take a bit of there and incorporate it in your way. The only vegan one that I had in the book was, can you see that? So this is a dessert, is garikaya with blueberries matcha. Matcha as in Japanese matcha.
Do you see how my mouth is dropped right now? Do you see how my mouth like just left my face and hit the floor? Not kanya with matcha. What? Get out of here. What?
And blueberries.
Girl, okay. Listen, let me tell you, before this summer, I am coming to visit you. You don't know me from nowhere, but we are officially friends. I am coming to Brussels. I'm going to stay in your house. I'm coming to eat. Girl, you can be having this. We are family.
Remember from Baisuba, we're families from Baisuba.
Thank you. We are the indigents of Baisuba Ambles, the generations. We have to...
I
course.
tell
No,
you.
this
So,
is
these
absolutely,
are the kind of,
absolutely. What's the title of the book again?
it's just a Renata's Afrofusion cuisine.
Okay,
Renata's
and there's a digital
Afrofusion
version.
cuisine.
So online, can we get the hard copy or just the ebook? You can order the hard copy online as well
No,
on
I haven't
Amazon.
got the hard copy. The hard copy, no, only the ebook. What I
Okay.
decided to do is because, in fact, there's a whole long story about this book. It would have never came out because my publishers, it was a couple. Oh gosh.
Okay.
Anyway, the
Wahala.
publishing
Publishing
company
Wahala.
broke down.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So I said, you know something, this book I'll do it on my own.
Yeah.
I'm one of
There
those
is,
people
you know,
that is going to come out in any shape,
I
in
could,
any form, it's going
sure,
to come
I
out.
could send you information about self-publishing maybe through Amazon, which won't cost you any money. It's just a question of like uploading the content. And then when people order from Amazon, then Amazon prints it and sends it to them, and they give you like maybe a $2.50 commission or something like that on every sale.
Well, that's
So
what I'm
there's
going to
that.
do. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
When
Yeah, because it's great to have
together
the
with the
hard
vegan
copy.
book,
Yeah,
it's
that
gonna
would
be
be
together with
awesome.
the vegan book. So it's like there are lots of people asking me for the hard copy, and
Yeah.
I keep on blowing them off, saying, okay, wait, please. So a lot of people
It can, it
no,
can.
got the hard
Yeah.
copy now, and I not get
Yeah, one
ebook, I
get
not
it.
get this, I not get that. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. I
Yeah, I
speak
want
from
to get the boost. I want
instinct.
to get the
I
boost.
understand.
Yeah, so I said, something.
Fabulous.
The best thing is when the vegan book is coming out, do the same because the vegan is going to be on a hard copy and
Okay.
ebook hard copy,
Super.
and this also will be on a,
Okay.
But this book, I really fought for it to come out, because it
No,
was
thank
just,
you so much for it's a labor of love. Thank you so much for
yeah,
getting it done, because those recipes sound amazing. And let me tell you, like, I'm getting this book today.
thank you,
It's like I don't care what
thank
nobody
you,
says. I'm getting the book today, and we're gonna do
thank you.
something before Monday. You go hear about me on Twitter about how like Renata, we Sky for make this team,
Oh,
this, you not come off
you
fine.
know,
So if I
oh my God. Try with the setting. You will love, try with the easier one first, because
Okay.
I've got I've got different fans around the world that send me, sometimes they redo my recipes
Okay,
in
like
their
they've
own
done it. Okay,
version
like
and
they've
things
tried
like
it.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But I like the Sierra Leone community. They make me laugh. Renata, me this book here, I don't buy her. I never make that thing all I don't like you. The only thing I make, now like that fish balls with food there. So I say to you, go gently first, please. I've had,
Okay.
start
I will
slowly.
start slow. I will start slow and easy. Like what you hear? Don't forget to leave us a review. Your reviews make it easier for others to find this podcast. Don't forget to share it with your friends and family. So the next thing, which is probably as we wrap this conversation, just you come from like a very creative family. You're an artist, you're chef, you're a musician. Your brother is an award-winning jazz musician. He's amazing. When I discovered his album, what do you think your family got right in terms of encouraging cultural expression or creativity or the arts? What was it that your parents did? What did they expose you to that kind of made it possible for you and your brother to both be able to be creatives? Because we know that, sometimes our parents are afraid of creative pursuits, because they don't think that they offer us the kind of security that maybe being certain kinds of other professions might. But what did your parents do? How did they encourage and nurture creativity and creative entrepreneurship and just the arts and appreciation for the arts with you and your brother?
Well, my parents, basically, I was born in London, and then when I was 3 years old, my parents met in the UK. got married there, had us. We went back to Sierra Leone when we were 3. They got divorced, so my mother had custody. But then down the line, my mother started to work for the UN. So every time she would go abroad on, how do you say, what's the word I want to use, on going abroad on
Postings.
meetings, things like that, she would always come back. There was always, she was a music lover. Music, I mean, from classical to jazz to, she'd always come back with vinyls, the latest, any latest, talk Michael Jackson, James Brown, Stevie Wonder. So in our neighborhood, we have what's coming from there, we'll have it straight in our little turntable, those 12-inch and 7-inch, and the vinyls, and then we'll play at home, invite our friends, and just play and sing along with the songs. On Sunday, we'll sit down, listen to classical music, things like that. We will go to play, even in Suriname at that time. They used to have like school plays or a play. Yeah. And we used to go to things like that. And there was always music at home, always music. But she also, you have to get forget that paper, you can forget your degree. So no, she's not excluded. No. She's not excluded at all. It's not at all. But we were always encouraged. For example, my brother and I used to sing along to all these songs. Like there was a song, remember, Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta, I Can Choose. So my brother would be John Travolta, I'll be Olivia Newton-John, we'll be singing, we'll all dress up. So we became in the family, like, when the parties, like, if we go on weekends, like, to my uncle's place, and they're all drunk, when I go working a little can dance for weeks, myself and my brother, like, if I go work, they can't look at them, they dance and sing. Do you understand? So they'll wake us up. Yeah. And then I go like, no, you go first now. No, you go first. And then, my brother would go to the show. But we always had this, we always liked to entertain. Even in the Navy, I always wanted to become a drummer. So when my brother would compose, I said, I'll be the drummer for this, understand? Just hitting on anything, to understand. But basically, my mother always just say, no, you have to get your degree. I've got a diploma in fashion design, I said to you. My brother did, what's it called? Accounting.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think people need to know that, there is a path less traveled. And now that path isn't as less traveled as it appears or as it used to be, right? So many people are venturing into the creative sector and creative arts and being successful. I think the reason why our parents or parents of a certain generation may not have embraced the arts and creative sectors because it wasn't viable, right? Like they didn't want you to become a starving artist, right? But now the world has changed. Like, the arts and culture and like, theater and film, it's like billion-dollar industries. So you can definitely now see your children doing this. So anyways, so now we've come to the end of the show, my favorite part. I say it's at the end of the show was like my favorite part, which is we are going to do On the Six. So On the Six is like a fast fire question and answer section where I ask you a question and you have 6 seconds to kind of like say something. Okay. So I just want you to say the first thing that comes to your mind. Okay. I'm going to ask you 6 questions. So this is On the Six with Renata Kamara of Renata Afrofusion Cuisine. What is your favorite Sierra Leonean parable or expression?
Time go fit clock.
Time go fit clock. Okay. What was the plot of the last movie you watched in 2 sentences?
Murder. It was like a fatal attraction kind of thing.
Okay. What is the song that you're playing on repeat right now?
My song, which is out on all digital platforms at the moment, it's a drill song. I'm writing my album. It's called Fearless. by Mata Odo. My artist name is Mata
Is
Odo.
that your
There you
stage
go.
name?
It's Afro
That's how I
drill.
know. I love it. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, you're fire. I love it. Okay. I'm so gonna look for that. And we're gonna play it on this episode because
It's
people need to
drill.
know.
It's a
Okay.
drill.
What is
It's
one
called
thing?
Feel It.
What is
Yeah.
one thing you've been meaning to do that you still haven't done?
Finish off doing my paintings. I paint. So I've got lots of canvases now that I
Lady,
haven't
is
finished
there
doing.
anything that you cannot do? My God. What a Renaissance woman. You're a Renaissance Renata.
No.
Okay, next question.
Anything arty, yeah.
When you feel like quitting, whenever you feel like quitting or giving up what you're doing, what keeps you going?
I think my mom, my late mom.
And then last and final question, who is one Sierra Leonean who inspires you?
The late Ambassador Marian Judith Tala Kamara.
All right. Thank you for sharing that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us in another fabulous edition of the Make Sierra Leone podcast. Don't forget to get Renata's book, Renata's Afrofusion Cuisine, which is currently available, I believe, on Amazon. But even if you can't find it, in the notes of this show, you'll see links to it at the bottom of this episode. So you'll be able to access it, and we'll update it once she publishes her next book, which is the vegan accompaniment to this particular edition. We will also include that. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Renata.
Thank you for listening to the Make Sierra Leone Famous podcast. Until next time, ta-ta!